Next on the agenda is Dr. Ralph Crowder, who's associate professor at the Department of Ethnic Studies, University of California, Riverside. Dr. Crowder is the author of a book entitled John Edward Bruce, Politician, Journalist, and Self-Trained Historian of the African Diaspora, which is forthcoming through published by NYU. He's had edited The Awakening of Hezekiah Jones, a story dealing with some of the political rewards. Do the Negro by John Edward Bruce. He has written numerous articles, and just to mention a few, Street Scholars on the Harlem Experience, African Americans in the New York Life and History, Grand Old Man of the Movement, John Edward Bruce, Marcus Garvey and the UNIA, Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington and John Edward Bruce, the relationship of a militant black journalist with the father of the Civil Rights Movement and the Wizard of Tuskegee, Pillows, Laura Eliza Wilkes, trailblazing scholar for black women, and Don't Buy Where You Can't Work, an investigation of the political forces and social conflict with the Harlem boycott of 1934. I present to you Dr. Ralph Crowder.
Well, I'm not quite sure how much time we have. I know Bill was the keynote. You know, the last time I was up here, I gave my introduction, and then Simba passed a note to me telling me I had 5 more minutes. So I'm really not quite. I think we have 20 minutes per piece, but I might just slightly go over that. And I appreciate if you would bear with me. In addition to that also, I know that it is in the afternoon, maybe a little warm in here. You see I've taken off my coat and I will open up my tie also. But if you want to do the same thing, make yourself comfortable, please do. You know, I always tell my students, for those who get a little sleepy, step outside and put some water on your face and cool out and come on back in with us, you know. But, you know, what I want to share with you is an absolutely marvelous kind of neglected story. And I should say also that I'm extremely pleased to be with the colleagues that I'm with, only because they too, in their own way, I think have been doing some exciting and original research. In some respects, my research is not driven ideologically at all, but it's driven by trying to uncover a whole group of neglected people. But let's start with the following. I want to talk about this group of untrained people, and I will define street scholars. And I also have another category here that I will talk about, and that is people who were street orators, or Irma Watkins Owens calls these stepladder radicals, very much untrained people. As a matter of fact, I have an anthology that is coming out by NYU. So, man, look, while we're talking here, let me give you one other thing, too. I'm going to give you a telephone number here. If you get all interested in what I'm talking about, make sure to call area code 212-998-2575. You can pre-order the book, but I'm more interested in, because look, Bruce has the largest manuscript collection in the Schomburg, between 2,500 and 3,000, and nobody's written anything on it at all. They've looked at him, but not seen him in the whole. A very important person. But more importantly, I want also you to tell Jennifer Hammer, my editor, that you want them to release Street Scholars too. Street Scholars is the anthology that they're pending now, and I demanded that they send it out without anything else other than a proposal, because I think it's very worthy. You know, they got 400 or 500 pages, of which I showed Bill earlier that I'm going over from the copy editor. So they know about what we're doing, and that's a great collection of people, which I'll talk in a Q&A session about. But I think this is very, very important work, and I think my colleagues are working in it. So let's start out this way. I want to take a look at the relationship of people who are critical thinkers, who did not have PhDs, who did not have formal education, who are very much like ordinary folk, you know, but they had a passion to the development of their minds. And often a bit unfortunate in terms of probably the economic circumstance, but were extraordinarily bright and made an enormous contribution, particularly to championing the whole notion of African American history long before this cadre of university trained scholars like ourselves. And I also want to talk a little bit about people who necessarily didn't write and publish, but who were great orators. And then finally, I'm going to talk about the relationship of these people to particularly maybe four trained scholars. And that is Du Bois, of course, which we've heard a lot about, and of course Carter G. Woodson, 1875, 1950. Alain Locke, but lastly, someone that I could find listed nowhere in no dictionary, Willis Nathaniel Huggins. You know, when John Henry Clark was alive, and of course John G. Jackson and all the colleagues of these old pioneers, they talked about the significance of this man, Willis Nathaniel Huggins, the sixth PhD from Fordham University. I see somebody out there rocking their head. That's from 1886 to 1941. I'll come back to that in just a minute. Okay. Well, in 1917, Bruce, who was also president of the Phalanx Society, an independent literary society, and I'm saying this to say that there's a new book called Forgotten Readers, 2002 here, by Elizabeth McHenry. It's a very interesting book, but it's really a history of the upper class and middle class. And what I'm talking about is the lower rail. You know, people who were in the community, very much working class people who came together. Bruce, who was the president of the Phalanx Society, a literary group, and in addition to that, a passionate believer that history was enormously important for the liberations of one's mind and so forth, and that before bodies could be liberated, that minds had to be liberated. Okay. He said the following: at the Yonkers Church, Baptist Church, I believe it was the Messiah Church, Messiah Baptist Church in Yonkers, New York, in 1917. There's one other thing I wish to say, Joan, before I bid you welcome, and is that you will endeavor individually and collectively to popularize the movement now taking form and favoring the establishment in all of our Negro institutions of learning of a chair of Negro history, so that generations come after us will know more about our race from reading and study than most of us know now. Because the textbooks written by white men have been and are woefully silent on the Negro's contribution to the general knowledge of the world, our environment makes us think white. And some of us think white so persistently that we haven't time to think black. But to this complexion, we must ultimately come. And I urge upon you, Joan, to help with voice and pen to hasten the coming of the morning when Negroes all over this broad land will wake up to the importance of thinking black. Now that's 1917. You know, it's a minor, I think, change in language. That could be 2003 without any problem particularly at all.